The HOA seemed perfect. That's what drew us in. That, and the house at the very end of the cul-de-sac, House 47. We had no idea what lived within its walls. Chapter 1. The Perfect Community. When Emily and Daniel Walters moved into the Whispering Pines community, they believed they had found their dream home. Neatly paved sidewalks, flower beds arranged with robotic precision, neighbors who waved good morning. It was everything a real estate brochure promised. The community was governed by a strict homeowners association, or HOA, known for keeping everything in pristine condition. Lawn too long? Warning letter. Mailbox slightly rusted? Citation. They were infamous but efficient, and the neighborhood looked like a Pinterest board. House 47 sat at the farthest corner, flanked by towering pine trees. Slightly older than the others, it had a rustic charm the newer homes lacked. The price was surprisingly low. When Emily asked the realtor why, she received a rehearsed smile. Oh, just a motivated seller. Downsizing. They moved in on a sunny Tuesday. By Friday, things began to change. Chapter 2. Whispers in the Walls. The first night was quiet, eerily so. No crickets, no rustling leaves, only the ticking of the grandfather clock left behind by the previous owner. Emily lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling watched. On the third night, the whispers started. Low. Inaudible. Like breath against plaster. At first, Daniel blamed the air vents. Old houses make noise, he said, brushing it off. But when the whispering began forming words, Emily's unease deepened. It was always just after 3 a.m. She sees. He listens. Get out, she told Daniel. He laughed. You've been watching too many true crime documentaries. She decided not to tell him about the small handprint that appeared on the hallway mirror the next morning. They had no kids. Chapter 3. The HOA Warning. A bright orange slip was stuck to their mailbox by Sunday. HOA Infraction Notice. Violation. Curtains do not meet community color standard. Correction required within 72 hours. Emily stared at it in disbelief. The curtains were beige, standard, right? She called the HOA office. No answer. When she walked over to the building, it was closed, though it was clearly during business hours. That night, another notice appeared, slipped under their door. You have been warned. Not on HOA letterhead. Handwritten. Uneven. Jagged. Emily showed it to Daniel. A prank, he said. Probably some HOA nutcase. But the next morning, their mailbox was gone. Ripped clean off. Chapter 4. The Neighbor Who Knew Too Much. Mrs. Halvorson from 2 doors down was the neighborhood historian. She had lived there for 42 years and had a fondness for gossip, sweet tea, and porch rocking chairs. Emily approached her casually, trying not to sound paranoid. Oh, honey, Mrs. Halvorson whispered, her eyes darting toward House 47. You bought that house? Emily nodded. There's a reason nobody stays long. The Johnsons left after 4 months. The McCarthys? 2. No one makes it to 6. And the HOA, they don't just manage lawns, dear. They manage secrets. Emily felt a chill. Don't let them see your fear, the old woman whispered. That's when they come for you. Chapter 5. Secret Meetings. Emily began noticing patterns. At exactly 2:17 a.m., a group of people in gray robes gathered by the fountain in the park. Hooded, silent, they stood in a circle for 12 minutes, then dispersed. One night, she followed. They never noticed her, or pretended not to. They chanted in low tones. Not English, not Latin. As the group disbanded, she caught a glimpse of a face under one hood. It was Mr. Langley, HOA president, retired dentist. His eyes glowed faintly. When Emily told Daniel, he finally seemed concerned, but not for the reason she expected. Maybe we should move, he said. This place, something's wrong with it. Too late. That night, their front door unlocked itself. Their fridge was filled with melted candles. And on the mirror again, in foggy print, you belong to US. Chapter 6. The Discovery in the Attic. Driven by terror and curiosity, Emily ventured into the attic. Dust floated like ghosts in the shaft of her flashlight. Boxes lined the walls, all labeled with names. Some she recognized, previous owners. One box was marked Emily Walters. Inside were pictures of her childhood home, her college graduation, a lock of her hair. She screamed. Daniel came running. When he saw it, his face turned pale. This was here before we moved in? They burned the box that night, but the next morning it reappeared, pristine, untouched, and the mirror message changed. You cannot leave. Emily and Daniel Walters move into House 47 in a perfect HOA neighborhood, only to uncover dark secrets, strange whisperings, and occult behavior by the HOA board. The house whispers. Their lives unravel, and escape seems impossible. Chapter 7. Daniel changes. After the attic discovery, something shifted in Daniel. He became quiet. Too quiet. Spent hours staring at the window. Stopped shaving. Barely ate. He said he was listening. To what? Emily found him once, at 3:07 a.m., kneeling in front of the refrigerator, whispering back at it. When she called his name, he looked at her blankly and asked, Do you hear them too? That night, she slept with the door locked. Chapter 8. The HOA Invitation. A letter arrived the next day in a black envelope. You are cordially invited to the HOA's annual midnight assembly. Attendance is mandatory for all House 47 residents. Location: Community Park Fountain. Time: 12 a.m. Tonight. Emily hesitated. She showed Daniel. He just nodded and said, We should go. At midnight, under a moonless sky, they walked to the fountain. Every HOA member was there, hooded, silent, forming a perfect circle. The president, Mr. Langley, stepped forward. House 47 awakens only once every decade, he said. And it has chosen you. What does that mean? Emily asked, her voice trembling. He smiled darkly. It means you are the offering. Chapter 9. The History of House 47. Mrs. Halvorson found her again, this time in the shadows of the mail center. I've been waiting for you, the old woman whispered. She handed Emily a folder. Yellow documents, old photos, newspaper clippings. One headline read, Entire family vanishes from local home. House 47 struck again. Inside were records dating back to the 1950s. Every 10 years, a family moved in. Every time, strange events. And either they left in a panic or disappeared. Emily clutched the folder. Why does the HOA allow it? Mrs. Halvorson leaned in. Because they serve it. The HOA was formed to contain the house's hunger. Not to stop it, just to manage the damage. And what happens if we don't play along? Then the house takes more than just memories. Chapter 10. Escape Plan. Emily planned their escape. At 2 a.m., she packed essentials. They'd drive. Leave everything behind. Change names if needed. Daniel didn't resist. But as they pulled out of the driveway, the GPS on the dashboard flickered and reset. Return to home. Every road looped back. They tried 6 different routes. Always returned to House 47. By sunrise, they were back in the driveway. The front door was open. And on the lawn, the words, You live here now, were carved in perfect block letters. Chapter 11. Emily's Rebellion. Emily changed tactics. She began recording everything, video, audio, logs of occurrences. She posted anonymously on paranormal forums. Someone had to help, but the posts vanished within minutes. Her phone began receiving static calls. When she answered, a voice whispered, Why do you resist? Accept. Become. She screamed into the phone, threw it into the sink. It rang anyway. Chapter 12. Daniel's Truth. One morning, Daniel confessed something. I knew, he said. Before we bought it. Emily froze. What? I saw the price. I saw the stories. But the house, it called to me. Even before we moved in. I heard it in my dreams. You lied to me, she whispered. I didn't lie, he said, smiling slightly. I obeyed. And with that, he turned and walked into the basement. Emily never saw him again. Chapter 13. The Final Notice. The next week, Emily received an envelope, no stamp, no return address. Inside was a single sheet. Congratulations. You have been selected as the new caretaker of House 47. You may not resign. You may not move. You may not die without permission. HOA Committee. The same night, every house's lights went out at once, except House 47. And Emily knew. The house wasn't haunted. The house was alive. And now she was part of it. Epilogue: A new family. 10 months later. A cheerful young couple moved into Whispering Pines. They chose House 47. The price was shockingly low. The real estate agent smiled and said, "Just a motivated seller." Across the street, Emily stood behind her curtains, watching. The HOA president waved cheerfully from his porch. And as the couple unpacked, the house began to whisper again.